Hello and welcome back to Behind the Bar. As always, I'm your host, Timmy Tayo. And Man United have had a great week. And I say that on the back of two draws, one away at Spain and one at Old Trafford against Arsenal. And I think that is a reality check of where we are. I think 10 years ago, a draw in European competition away probably is a decent result. And a draw at home to Arsenal, you could say it's a fair result as well. But I think as fans, as Amorim has said, we have to be humble. And I think some humble pie is much needed as a Man United fan in these times. And I do think that we've had a good week for sure, with a draw in Spain in the Europa League round of 16 against Real Sociedad, and a draw against Arsenal at Old Trafford, which probably should have been a win when you look at the number of saves that Raya had in that second half. You're probably feeling like we should have taken all 3 points, even though prior to kickoff, I think any Man United fan would have taken a point against second place Arsenal. But I think that's a testament to the performance and the results that we've had over these last couple of games, which is why, like I said, I think it's been a good week. But everything leads up to this upcoming game on Thursday, which I believe is the most important game this season for Man United, in the return leg at Old Trafford against Real Sociedad, with the winning team booking their place in the quarterfinals. The last 8 teams left in the competition. And we all know what's at stake, right? You win the Europa League and you have automatic ticket into the Champions League, which is where all the clubs in Europe want to be playing in. Not just for financial reasons, but we know that that is the upper echelon of European football. And I mean, Man United simply do not deserve to be playing in top-tier European football based on the performances that we've seen this season. However, this would be a great achievement for Amorim to come in halfway through the season with all the injuries that we've had, with all the setbacks, to be able to progress into the latter stages of the Europa League. And like I've said, when you're in the quarterfinals, you have just as good a chance as anyone else to progress to the semis. And then, of course, in the final, anything can happen. And if we've learned anything about this squad and this Man United team over the last few years, is that undoubtedly they are a cup team, right? We've seen that under Erik ten Hag, winning the Carabao Cup, getting to 2 FA Cup finals, winning one, losing the other against Man City. Even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, getting to the Europa League final. I think he also got to the FA Cup final. Unfortunately, he lost both. But since Sir Alex, I think we've done pretty well in the cup games. Of course, we know that Jose Mourinho won this Europa League several years back. And so I think if we can get past Sociedad on Thursday and get into the quarterfinals, I'll be quite optimistic about our chances to get to the final, and then, anything can happen from there. So we're going to go over our predicted 11 and our prediction for this game, this crucial second leg tie after the 1-1 draw in Spain. All roads lead to Manchester. And of course, starting at the back, Andre Onana. He's cut out the mistakes over the last few games, at least mistake leading to goals, which has been good. However, his goal kicks have really been a head scratcher, especially against Arsenal. I think he had about 7 or 8 goal kicks that went out straight for a throw-in. And that's pretty alarming for a goalkeeper whose strongest attribute is supposed to be his feet, his ability to pass the ball, whether short-range passing or long-range passing. Fortunately for Onana, Altay Bayındır is still injured and is nowhere to be found. And so we are going to see Onana between the sticks in goal. The back three, we're not sure of the health of Harry Maguire, who's missed the last 2 games. So I imagine that Victor Lindelof, who came in and had a decent game, I must say, against Arsenal, will probably take his spot in the center back position. On the right side, De Ligt, who has gone from strength to strength over the last few weeks, I expect him to be on the right-hand side. And on the left center back position, Lenny Yoro unfortunately picked up an injury, had to be substituted against Arsenal, with Heaven coming in his place and really giving a good account of himself against his former team, playing a full 45 minutes. I saw the stats, and on the ball with possession, he did lose the ball 7 times, but defensively he was pretty assured. And he hasn't had a start yet. And if Lenny Yoro can't go, I imagine that we're going to see Heaven make his full debut from the start at Old Trafford, which is going to be a huge game for him in what is, like I said, Man United's most important, their biggest game this season. So again, the back three, Lindelof, De Ligt, and Heaven. Now in the pivots, Amorim mentioned that he expects Manuel Ugarte to be back in contention. And if he is, I think we'll certainly see him in one of the pivots. And alongside him, I think we're going to see Toby Collier. In Spain, he came off the bench against Sociedad and had a great contribution to this team with his physicality, the legs in midfield. Again, made an appearance off the bench against Arsenal. And I expect him to start this game. I think Amorim is going to want a solid midfield. Casemiro has been great over the last 2 weeks, but he played Thursday, then Sunday. I don't think we can see Casemiro 3 times in 1 week. I just don't think he has the legs to do that at the age of 33. So I think Toby Collier would be a perfect partner for Manuel Ugarte in that midfield if Ugarte, like I said, is past fit to start. And I think that would be a great base in that midfield. They will provide the tenacity, the physicality, the legs to get up and down the pitch, especially if we're going to be seeing Zubimendi come back for Sociedad in this game. I think having that physical duo in the middle of the park at Old Trafford is going to be critical to our ability to control the midfield and ultimately progress into the quarterfinals. In the wing-back positions, of course, on the left-hand side, we are going to see Patrick Dorgu come back and take his place on the left wing-back position. He missed the game against Arsenal, serving his second of a 3-game suspension, having had a straight red against Ipswich in the Premier League. And like we know, that does not apply to European competition. And so he should be fresh, well rested, and ready to come back in on the left wing back position. Now on the right, it's a toss-up between Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot. And if Heaven's going to make his debut on the left center-back position, I think that more than likely we will see Diogo Dalot on the right. It looks like Amorim prefers his compatriot Diogo Dalot to Mazraoui in the wing-back positions, even though Mazraoui did play there against Arsenal. But again, we're looking at these players having played Thursday, Sunday, and then another Thursday game. I think we're inevitably going to have some rotation. I think we'll see Mazraoui be on the bench and Diogo Dalot start on the right-hand side of the wing backs. And in the pivots, in the number 10s, Bruno Fernandes is a shoe-in, Captain Fantastic. He's been really on one these last few weeks, coming in and doing everything to pick this team up, to get goals, assists, and put in performances to really lift us up when we've needed it the most over these last few weeks, with obviously a superb free kick against Arsenal over the weekend. And I think he needs to play closer to the opposition's goal in the final third to affect the game. And I think for that reason, I will play Bruno in one of the 10s. And alongside him, I think we have to play Garnacho in this game. I think Garnacho showed his worth, probably his best game against Arsenal over the weekend, where we really sat back and played on the counterattack, and that's really his strength. And I think we might see a similar type of game against Sociedad where we try to sit back a little bit knowing that Sociedad plays that high line and then try to hit the channels and hit them on the counter attack. And that suits Garnacho down to the T. So I think Bruno and Garnacho will start in the 10s. And of course, we're going to have none other than Joshua Zirkzee play in the number 9 position where he can drop back in, get possession, hold the ball up, link up play, and get us up the pitch with Rasmus Højlund coming off of the bench, knowing that, of course, again, Cheeto Obi is not eligible for this tie. And I do think we need some sort of, I don't want to say experience, but a senior player of sorts on the bench. And that's why I would put Rasmus on the bench, to bring him in the second half against tired legs, have him run the channels and provide maybe a little bit spark off the bench. And so that would be my starting 11. And of course, match winner once again, none other than Captain Fantastic Bruno Fernandes. I mean, he's been everything for this team over the last few weeks, and I expect him to have a huge say if we're going to win this game. And so my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win to Man United. We know that we always tend to concede a goal, especially at home. Sociedad lost against Sevilla this weekend. We had a draw. They haven't had a win now in, 3 to 4 games. And we're coming off of the back of 2 good performances and results. So I think momentum is with Man United at home with the crowd behind us. And I expect us to win this game, a narrow victory at 2-1. And so I think that would be a great result to get us into the quarterfinals, and I fully expect us to get the job done. So that's it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. It means a lot as we try to grow the channel here. And thank you for your time, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.